have enough food for all of us, but that's part of the adventure, right? We're gonna find our food.
The Red Lantern is a video game which I had not heard of before at all. However, I saw it advertised on Steam. It was on a really good offer. It was a very, very cheap game. And I thought, you know what, I really like the visual style. And I just wanted to see what it was like. I love the idea of kind of traversal. I'm a big fan of Death Stranding, and this was giving me kind of those vibes, but perhaps wrapped up in a kind of nice indie game, quirky graphic package. So I couldn't resist jumping in to see what it was all about. So you kind of start off the game and you're in a cutscene. You are traveling along in the car and there's a lady who's your protagonist and she's talking along to her dog, which is on the side of the car in the passenger seat. And she's telling it about this big adventure that you're going to go on. Now, it did have me hooked a little bit from the offset. I thought, oh, where are we going to go? What we're going to do? And she says at some point, right, we're going to find 6 dogs to accompany us to build our kind of our troop of sledding dogs. We want 6 dogs. So, all right, fair enough. So we continued going. I continued playing. I was really locked in that all I could do was just look around. I couldn't control the direction I was going in. We're 6 minutes into the game now. Not done a lot. I also don't feel like the dialogue trees are going to have much of an impact on the story. I feel like I'm just clicking on it for the hell of it. So, for example, I could click on anything here, and it doesn't really make much decision. It doesn't really make much difference, to be fair. I couldn't really interact with anything. It was literally just moving the camera around. And it wasn't long before I realized that we were actually going to have to select 6 dogs. Each time you selected a dog, you pulled up, there's a dog there. Obviously, you want to adopt it because, you know, they're dogs. You can't say no to it. Although I did say no to one just to try out and see what happened. And we just went on to another dog. And it just took a really long time. I was a little bit disappointed because I really did just want to get on with it. I just wanted to, you know, pick the names of the dogs perhaps and then just go with it. But I felt like they really have drawn out this opening bit. Okay, so there's one more dog left. Let's find the next dog and we'll adopt him so we can get past this. It did actually eat up into a hell of a lot of my playing time. I was just driving and just listening to this dialogue from the main character. Once we'd actually selected all the 6 dogs, I was like, brilliant, we're going to get off on our adventure. We started off at a campsite where you could feed the dogs, you could, you know, check out the map, you could have a bit of a rest. Again, there's not much more that you could do there. You could just literally interact with the different items, which was fine. It was functional. But again, I just really did want to get out onto the snow and just do a bit of exploring. And that's what happened next. I actually was handed the reins, if you will, and I was ready to go. And the dogs started going and you're on the back of the sled. And I instantly realized, right, this is completely on rails. I cannot control it. Okay, we're moving. Do I have control? So I can lean, but I feel like it's very much on rails, like the dogs are moving themselves. Yeah, this is on rails. You're given an instruction that you can move left or you can move right. However, it's just something that you shout out to the dogs and it can't be done all the time. It's only done at set points. So there might be, you know, a branching path up ahead where you can go left or right and you're given the option to say left or right to the dogs. There is a little bit therefore of interaction and, you know, you can see that you're going to work out your route yourself. However, it was a little frustrating for me. In fact, it was very frustrating for me because I would have preferred to have just been able to drive the sled myself. So that was really, really disappointing. You were also given sections where you can hunt. So you went past like a moose or a deer or something and it was like, right, we can shoot that and we can get some more meat for the dogs. So it's like, right, brilliant. We're going to go into kind of hunting simulator territory. However, you can't even aim the weapon. You basically, it's on rails again. You just approach the animal and you're given a kind of an interface where there's a ball moving around on screen and there's a circle. And I just guessed that I have to click when the ball goes into the circle and then they fire the gun. And the first time it just missed and I wasn't given an opportunity to go after the animal again, which was disappointing. The second time I shot the thing, wasn't a clean hit. It ran off. So I cannot aim the gun at all. What is this? I don't understand this little mini game going on here. If I hold down E, it's supposed to hold my breath. What do I do? Shoot this when it gets into the circle, perhaps? Okay. That seemed... Oh, no.
Did you really have to run away after?
and I was given 3 options. One was like, oh, I'm sorry I hit it. The next one was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to leave it. And then the other one's like, oh, well, I guess we've got to continue with our mission, which for me were like 3 identical choices. So it didn't really feel like I was going to have an impact on what I did. So I just picked a random one. So these 3 options seem the same. I have to leave this half done. Nature's going to balance it out. I can't do anything now.
Or maybe I'll find.
It was really annoying. I couldn't even aim. You're given a gun. It's a first-person scene. You've got the gun at the bottom of the screen. There's an animal in front of you, and you can't even aim. I do not understand at all why they locked me into this. It is very bizarre. You should have at least let me aim the gun. I do not understand that. And that was basically the end of the 20 minutes. It was literally just, a little bit of traveling at the start in the car, a little bit of being on the sled, and then these 2 kind of hunting sections. It was really, really frustrating. To be fair, we're learning about trees, so at least it's not a complete waste of time. Gameplay-wise, there was not a lot there at all to help me, and I definitely did not want to continue playing for that. The strong points on this, I would say, the graphical style. It looks really nice. They've done some nice work. It's obviously quite pared back. It's not highly detailed, but it did look nice. It had a kind of a cohesive style. I like the fact that she's wearing a kind of Inuit Eskimo kind of hood, and you can see to the peripheral of the vision, you can see that if you look far enough, which I thought was quite a nice touch. It did make you feel a bit more immersed. I felt like I was that character a bit more. And also the music was quite nice. It was very background. It wasn't right in your face, but it just did enough to kind of take over the action and get you immersed. But overall, this is not something that I would have really liked to have paid like 20, 30 pounds for. I think, it was £2 or something like that. And for that, I did feel I could justify 20 minutes on it. Unfortunately, apart from, the nice look and, getting immersed slightly, there wasn't a lot to hook me in. I think if you do have 20 minutes and you want something, that's a bit of an adventure or a bit of, exploration or something, there are a lot better games out there that are going to get to that point a lot quicker than this one did. This did feel like it was basically just taking the controls away from me. I've only got 2 minutes left of my 20 minutes and I haven't really done anything yet, which is a little disappointing. I really like the look of this game. It's just, there's really nothing going on here gameplay to hook me in. It feels frustrating. I feel like I've had the controls taken away from me almost watching this on YouTube. In fact, that might be a better way to experience it. Even though it was giving me the promise of kind of a big open world and, a big exploration element to it, which might not be the case, but it gave the impression that this is a game about exploration and, the great outdoors and so on. It didn't deliver that at all. It was actually really, really constraining. And therefore, I would not recommend this one, unfortunately. However, I'd love to see what this developer goes on to do. I think they've got a lot of potential. So yeah, in the future, they might come up with something, or perhaps this is one of those games that does actually really get going and open up once controls are handed over to you. But it just took a little bit too long, unfortunately. So I think if you're short on time, you're not going to get a lot out of this one, unfortunately. But what did you think? Have you played this one? Have I put you off it, or have I made you actually want to play it? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Wow, that's 20 minutes. That was 20 minutes. Okay.